Hey everybody, so in this video we're going to continue looking at the Linux commands that you can run in this series of beginners Linux really. It's just a tutorial on how to use Linux. So let's take a look at this. So we are right now on the command line. We went through ls to list directories, to list the files in a directory or directories. Everything in Linux is a file, so that's even even directory. So you can see in here the D means directory. The L here is a link. So this is a bin is a link to user bin, as lib is to user lib, and you can see so forth and so on. All right, so let's take a look at how we would get more information on commands such as ls. So we can type man, which stands for manual. And this will give us more information of all the command options. So there's the short command here with just one minus or one dash, and then there's also the longer command dash dash. So you almost all of the commands have that, right? Except for you can see author does not. So you can go through here and take a look at how the command works. It's helpful. You can also just Google how the command works. That's sometimes a lot easier than trying to read these man pages. I'm sure this is good. Because really I like to look at examples, and so that's how you do. That's how you look up how the command works. So the other option, another thing that I want to look at is the release, right? The release of this. So you can go to more. So more is another command, right? There's more, and Etsy Red Hat release. So that's on all of these clones of Red Hat. And there it is, Rocky Linux release 9.0 Blue Onyx. So that's the version that we're on. So let's make sure we update. Let's update this. So DNF update, and you have to do it as root. Okay, so we're going to do a DNF. So DNF is the newer form, and it's faster than Yum, a little bit more efficient than Yum. So you're going to want to use DNF in a RHEL or CentOS or Rocky Linux environment. Now for Debian, there's apt, and I think I'll do a series on the Ubuntu or a Debian Linux. There are some differences. All right, so we're going to say yes to that. So this will update the operating system, and this can take some time. This is going to take a little bit of time. It's saying 16 minutes. So I'm going to let this. Well, I can just let this. Here's the nice thing. Here I can go in here, go to applications. I'll just open up another terminal and SSH 10.10 200.90. Okay, so now I have another command prompt open. So now we're updating all the files. Okay. Uname -A is going to give us the Linux Rocky, the name of the computer and the kernel. There's the kernel version and SMP and when it was compiled. So that should change on this update. It's probably going to update the kernel, and that's the brains of the system. So what does the -A stand for? Let's look. So -A right there, print all information. So I could just do uname -v. That's just going to give me the version. So that's how you would use man if you want to look up something that you need. So kernel release, say I want that, just that. And especially if I'm doing it in a script, I might just want uname -r. I just want this number. So Enterprise Linux 9.0 x86-64. So that's helpful. All right, so we've updated the system. We're updating it right now. It's going to take a little while. This goes pretty slow out of EVE-NG. I'm running it through right now a OpenSense firewall. I had to remove the ASA from this part because the ASA, since it's not licensed, it's very limited in its bandwidth. This gives me a little bit more bandwidth, but it's still pretty slow. I think if we did a speed test, I was getting 2 megs up, 2 megs down. So pretty slow. Okay, so let's go through some commands for directory. So where are we in the directories? We are at home Chris R. So let's make a directory, and that's mkdir, and I'll call it test 1. And then if we do an ll here, you can see test 1 has been created. And now's probably a good time to go over what all of this means. So Chris R is the owner. The first one there is the owner, the user, and Chris R here is a group. So this is the user group, user and group. So Chris R. So you can change those. Those are the permissions. And here, so we have read, write, execute, read, execute, and read, execute. So there's read, write, execute 3 times, right? So that's 1 for the user, 2 for the owner, and the third one is for everyone. So if you gave everyone, you can give everyone rights to it if you wanted to. It's certainly possible. So, okay. So we've got that. So, okay. Let's see. Okay, so the first letter there is directory. That's for directory. So owner, group, everyone. And then this, of course, owner and group. All right, so we've created a directory. We cd test 1. Now remember, we are not using the slash. If we use the slash, then we have to use the full directory path. So what is the full directory path? It's cd home Chris R test1. So that brings up another point. Remember to always use tab complete. See, if I go here, hit tab, it completes it. So you'll know that you have the right path. So I could do this. I can also do this. CD, that takes me up one folder. And I'm back here now. So I can do CD. If I just type CD, let's say I'm somewhere else. Let's move back there. This time, I'm just going to go without the slashes. So I'm in test 1, and if I just type CD, that takes me back to my home. So let's show how that works. CD test 1 pwd. I'm in home Chris R test 1. Type CD. There I go right back to my home. I can also do CD, and that will take me home too. All right, so there we did mkdir, make directory. So we can do rm. We can remove a directory. And this will remove that test1 directory. rm-fr. Man rm. So F forces it, and R, let's see, where is R? Is recursive. So that will remove everything, and it also has to be used for directories. So if we just did, I'll show you what would happen. Let's make directory test2. Now we have test2, rm test2. It'll tell me I can't remove that. It's a directory. So if I do rm-f test2, no, won't let me do that either. So you have to have that R. Boom, now it's gone. Okay. All right, so now that we've gone through that, this is still updating in the background. So let's make another directory. Test3. We'll cd into it. And what we'll do is we'll create a file. So we're going to touch, that's another command, touch test file 1. Now what that does, that creates a file, an empty file. You can see it's 0. The owner has read write, but everyone else just read. The group has read, and everyone has read. So this is our test file, right? No one else can touch this except for root, of course. But okay, so let's go into test file so we can do a more on test file. You can see nothing's in test file. What we can do is we can cat. This is a, we'll redirect into this and put a text string in here. Now if we do an LL, That is not how you do that. Oh, I think I did that wrong. So I just created a new one. I wanted to do cat. This is a test file and direct it into my test file. No such file or directory. Okay, yeah, I used the wrong command. It's echo. So I want to echo this is a test file and direct it into test file 1. There we go. Now, if we do this, I'm going to rm this is a test file. And what you can see there, and that's an interesting point, is that the spaces in this file, their backslash is used to say ignore the or to escape the space rather than Linux would think that these are 4 different items. This tells it to ignore that and treat it as the full string. So rm. So we got rid of that one. So now if we do a more test file, this is a test file. We can also do, so I use more. More is an older way to look at the file. You can use cat test file. That'll just print it out. You can also use less. And less is better than more because here's what it does. It allows you to go through the file. You can go through and go up and down, whereas more, you can only keep going down the file. If it's a long file, let's quit this. Hit the Q to quit. All right, so let me show you with less var log messages. Sudo less var log messages. So what I can do here is I can go down if I'm looking for something. I can do a search here. There I found test in there by hitting slash error. If I'm looking for error, quit. If I do more, now I can only go down. I can still search. There, it found it, but it took me to that place in here. So, probably use less. Okay, so the last thing I want to show in this video is in Linux, you have to be aware of case. So if I touch test file 1, you can see now I have 2 files. One's called test file 1 lowercase t, and the other one's test file 1 with a uppercase t. So you have to be aware of, you have to be very careful with case in Linux. Okay. All right, so now we're just gonna wait until this completes. This is the update. It should be done shortly. So it's gonna ask us, do we want to install this key? We're gonna say yes. So it downloaded all of these packages, these RPMs, and now it's running the test and it's going to start installing them. Okay, so in the next video, what we're going to do is we'll go over some editors like VI. I'd recommend learning at least the basics of VI just because VI is always available in Linux. Anywhere you go, any system you jump on, even if you're jumping on a Unix, an old Unix system or anything, VI is always there, and even in the smallest systems, VI is there. Now, is VI the most user friendly? No, it's not. And I still think it's worth learning just how to get around. I'm by no means an expert in VI, but I can get around, and it just makes things pretty easy. If you're jumping on a system, you know it's going to be there. Okay, so this system is still updating. I'm going to pause it until it finishes, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, the updates have completed. So now if we do an etc Red Hat release, still in the same release, nothing's changed there. These were just patches and security updates. All right, so thank you for watching, and I hope you come back. Thanks.